Hello y'all, hope you're all doing well. This is RJ here in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. This is in Greenbrier County. There was a battle that took place right here. It was White Sulphur Springs battle, also known as Dry Creek, also known as Rocky Gap. It took place right here. I'm actually staying on the battlefield. Unfortunately, none of it has been preserved. The only memorials are these right here that are often difficult to see. They're usually covered with this tree, that's a low-hanging tree that's usually right here. Thankfully, it's going to cut back a little bit. As you can see here, this entire battlefield has been developed. I-64 runs on the other side of this hill right here, and that runs right through where the battlefield is too. But all the low field line area is right here, this gas station and this little strip mall where this food line is, and this Hardee's right here. So that's why I'm a big fan of preservation sites like the Shenandoah Valley and the American Battlefield Trust and others that preserve battlefields, because they could all end up like this. There's a battle that took place here where the Confederates, led by George S. Patton, that might be a familiar name, defeated the Union troops. George S. Patton was at the time leading the Eccles Brigade mostly. His temporary commander, John Eccles, was gone at the time. And he had heard that Union troops were coming through this area to go attack Lewisburg and attack mainly their law books and their maps and their library that's over there. And they basically helped save that. So they stopped the Union advance. And so the Confederates pulled out a victory right here on this battlefield. Now this is the weekend where there was a reenactment. Just about a 15-minute drive up this road. The downtown White Sulphur Springs is just down here. If you keep going, if you go up to the Greenbrier State Forest, there was a great reenactment today. It was 162nd anniversary of the Battle of White Sulphur Springs, also known as Rocky Gap or Dry Creek. Great reenactment there today. I was there last year as well. It was a 2-day reenactment. Today was the second day. So I thought I'd share these memorials with you right here. Some of these date back at least 100 years or so, but one of them over here is much more newer. And so I'll share that with you in just a moment, this one right here. But this one, the Battle of White Sulphur. The Battle of White Sulphur was fought on this site August 26th and 27th, 1863. Of course, today is the 162nd anniversary to the month, today being in August of 2025. But once again, the Battle of White Sulphur Springs was fought on this site August 26th and 27th, 1863. The Confederates, some of Major General Sam Jones' forces, were commanded by Colonel George S. Patton, and the Federal by Brigadier General William W. Averill. About 4,000 troops were engaged. General Averill withdrew on the 27th towards the east. This one was placed here just later by one of the Union troops that was killed here on around this site, Baron Paul von Kong, Captain of the USA, killed August 26, 1863. I like what has been done right here as well. This memorial was actually placed by a reenactment group. I really enjoyed hanging out with the reenactors today over at their reenactment up there in Greenbrier State Forest. As you see right here, in memory of Company G, 26th Virginia Infantry, White Sulphur Rifles, presented by the White Sulphur Rifles Reenactment Group. This was presented back on August 20th, 2000. Very cool. I'm glad the tree has been trimmed up a little bit more. Last time I was here, you could not see this even from the road because all these branches were hanging down to the ground. Once again, this is the actual battlefield, and that has not been preserved at all. That's why I encourage you to get involved in battlefield preservations, because it could all turn out this way if we don't do something about it. So that's why the reenactment was up there in Greenbrier State Forest. It's up in the hills. Had a great 2-day occasion up there. Some church services today. Had a reenactment yesterday at 1 o'clock and again another one today at 1 o'clock. Just great folks. Really enjoyed visiting and spending some time there. Once again, this is at the battle site where Colonel George S. Patton, you might ring a bell because after all, he was the grandfather of another famous George Patton of World War II fame. The famous George Patton of World War II was the grandson of this Confederate colonel that fought right here. So General Patton was very proud of his grandfather who served in the Confederacy, who served and also died in the war not long after this. There's a photo of General Patton as a youth when he was a cadet visiting the gravesite of his Confederate grandfather there in Winchester, there in Stonewall Cemetery in Winchester, Virginia, and paying respects to his Confederate grandfather and also his Confederate great uncle, basically the brother of his grandfather who was also served in Confederacy and also was killed in that war. Both buried there in the same grave. So just leaving this with you today. Once again from White Sulphur Springs. I was just up there at White Sulphur Springs at the Greenbrier itself on that property. Famous resort, luxury resorts up there. I was walking all through the Greenbrier. It was awesome. And I went to go find the Robert E. Lee Shrine that's over there. There's a Robert E. Lee Shrine up there because Robert E. Lee, after the war, came out here and he spent some summers out here when he was president of Washington University after the war. And there is a room of murals of Robert E. Lee on all 4 sides and some other little artifacts of Robert E. Lee. I don't think it has quite as much as it used to, but it was over there in the president's building that was built way back in the 1830s. That building is coming up on 200 years old. And there's been multiple presidents of the United States that have stayed there, including James Monroe, the 5th president of the United States. Many other presidents stayed there. And now it's a museum. It's been a museum for a long time. And they placed a mural there back in the 1920s. And about 20 years later, the mural was removed. And it was forgotten. They thought it was lost. And thankfully, they finally found it after it was lost for 50 years. After 50 years, they finally found this mural in some hidden area. And they restored the murals, and it's a beautiful mural, and they call it the Robert E. Lee Shrine. And if you look at the historical marker, you can, it talks about the 12th presidents of the United States. There's been many more presidents of the United States that came here to the Greenbrier, just down the road from here. But also Robert E. Lee stayed in the building just down the road from there. So let's leave this with you today, once again, from the site of the Battle of White Sulphur Springs, also known as Rocky Gap, also known as Dry Creek, or it was the 162nd anniversary of the battle that took place right here. Very cool. So take care, y'all. You can stop by if you're ever around this area and pay respects, because I've talked to locals here who've lived here and they were not even aware of this. That's why I like to draw this attention, to document these and bring this awareness to you. So take care, y'all. From White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia.